Probably just drama, things like that, theater.
And after high school, what would you like to do?
That is an excellent question. I hope to be able to answer that one day.
Any idea about a career? Computers. Okay, okay. All right, very good. Well, we're going to listen to what you have to say.
And would you like this on the stand? Okay.
Hello. I'd like to thank you, all you good-looking people for having me here. Flattery is never a bad thing, so I figured I'd listen to that. I won't lie, I wasn't totally sure what I was supposed to write about. So basically, my speech is just all the things that I personally learned from doing one act of service over the summer. So just kind of proving, all the different things that you can learn by doing simple things. You guys love service. I love service. So let's do it. For my senior project this summer, I helped 12 of my productions put on their performance of Anything Goes. And so I assisted the stage director doing all sorts of fun things like cutting up the wood, building the set, painting, and then during the performance itself, having to go backstage, move things around, yell at the actors, things like that. So just being able to learn, all the things about how to put the set together, that's already something in itself. And just putting all those raw materials into a specific form that just captured the imagination of both myself and the audiences, I thought was one of the most fascinating parts of the whole experience. But in addition to that, I did learn that building rapport with the other actors and workers is just as necessary as the set itself. So, gotta be on good terms with people. Also, at each performance, there's a representative from the food bank who would speak to the audience and be like, hey, donate to us. And on days when they would not be able to come, I was prepared to step in and speak to the audience about that. So I always had to be ready for that. So it was the first time I'd ever been on an actual stage for a performance. I do shows at the Seattle Lutheran Gym, which it's nice in its own right, but it's a little unique in that it's just an extension of a basketball court, and it's got fancy curtains and all the necessary things, but it doesn't quite have the pulleys and catwalks and all sorts of cool contraptions that other stages sometimes have. So working at West Seattle Stage it was a learning experience just in that, just being able to figure out how to use all these things, and it made me that much more valuable just to feature theater performances as a whole, because I can now operate these things. I'm not just a small child wandering around bumping into things. Being part of the performance of this magnitude with all these people and just watching them practice and practice and practice, it gave me a new scope for which to view other plays. Being in them, I knew how much work it could be, but I'd never seen it from a third-person perspective, seen all the people practicing and going along. And so that, I think, was a very necessary component, as I think the arts are one of the most important things that someone can do. And so having good appreciation for that, learning to love it more, I have valued that very highly in my experience there. Improving communication skills with the other people in various forms was also one of the most important aspects of my time there. I learned how to relay messages and work with a modern actor who can be a little fussy and irritated sometimes, because they're focused on their job, that's okay. So basically they will not put up with me distracting them in any way at all, even if I have to tell them to move to the right place or put something in the right spot. So even when time is running low, I can't be just yelling at actors, because that'll just make them more irritated and even harder to deal with in the future. So I had to learn to practice patience and being able to speak in a non-threatening way using language that does not harm their ego, and will still get them to realize the urgency of the situation and that they need to get something done. So I think that is also a very important skill to possess in parenting. Someday down the road, if I have kids, can't just yell at them. I have to tell them, do this, but quick. And it's also good for any workplace or learning environment. Just anytime you can deal better with people, that's pretty much good in all aspects of life. It is just stuff about myself now. It's a very overlooked, but I think actually extremely important factor that I can be of value as both a worker and an actor. Because some actors I've noticed they seem as if they've never worked backstage. So there's always an underlying current of like animosity where they think the backstage workers should just get their job done quickly without getting in the way of anything. But it's not the easiest thing having to move all around back there, move all these items and furniture around, and keep track of the actors without even making a sound and being known to the audience. So I have an appreciation just for the work that they do, which allows me to, again, have better dealings with them in the future with other workers if I continue to act in various things. So again, just more things that I personally received from doing this active service by helping 12th Night up there. Have a good time. Then regarding the food bank, I felt a great sense of accomplishment knowing that I was not only helping to entertain the very handsome community of West Seattle, but also that I was providing a deeply meaningful and necessary act via food donations. I appreciated helping 12th Night more than solely working with the food bank because I thought appreciation of the arts and things like that is just as important as being able to provide food and comfort to the people who live there. So being able to fuse those two into one thing I thought was a great thing, and I love doing it. So yeah, that was my summer. I knew my project was pretty much done when the food bank's coffers were full of cool new donations, and people in West Seattle went home happy. And they're like, that was a good performance, and I didn't notice the workers. They did their job, and that's what I was hoping for. It's the first time in my life that I participated in a theater production of that, big magnitude. And it was one of the greatest things I've ever done. It was one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. I could tell the audience appreciated it, and I learned a whole lot of cool new things. So yeah, that's it.
Questions? Yes.
How come you don't want to make theater your career?
I don't consider myself ever being a good enough actor to make a large amount of money. I would like to keep it as like a side hobby. Like, go to work, come home, maybe practice some lines, it'll be fun. But I don't think I could do it as a full commitment job.
Not the behind the scenes?
Oh, nah, not that. Acting's more fun.
Other questions?
What's your favorite play that you've been an actor in, and why?
The Odd Couple was probably my favorite, just because it was such a great dynamic just between all the guys we had in it. We were all buddies, and so it was just great having us hate each other.
What role did you play?
I was, I think his name's Vinny. It was one of the poker players who just appears at the guy's house.